Welcome back. So in this lecture, we are going to go through the detailed targeting. Now, when it comes to this e-commerce strategy, you have the entire blueprint in front of you. The only one thing where you need to be really creative and think outside the box and be product specific with your targeting is going to be the detailed targeting. So we're going to go through how that section works and different mindsets to use in order to properly target the audience that's going to want to buy your product. Let's dive in. All right, so first things first, before we move on to this one, we are gonna go ahead and remove the detailed targeting expansion. So it says reach people beyond your detailed targeting selection when it's likely to improve performance. In other words, we are gonna give Facebook the control to reach more people if they think it's gonna be successful. Well, the problem with that is that if we have a good targeting, they can go way outside of that targeting and we lose our control, and we're also gonna lose our statistics because we're doing this targeting to see if the ad set is working. So we always remove this one, always. There's no reason to give Facebook that amount of control to go outside our targeting with our primary audience, right? You're also going to notice the detailed targeting expansion is not in the template, and that is because we don't use it and we're never going to use it. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to move into detailed targeting here. And if we go ahead and look at the template, it says broad interest plus engaged shoppers. So we are looking at a broad interest when it comes to this product, Boho Leaves earrings. All right? So when it comes to a broad interest, that means looking at the whole picture. In total, at the end of this, when we've set this up, we're going to create 2 more ad sets and we're going to target the detailed targeting a little bit differently. But now we're going to do broad targeting. And for Boho Leaves earrings, a broad targeting could be, for example, focusing on bohemian, because Boho stands for bohemian, or boho chic, as it's also called in the fashion industry. We could also be targeting jewelries, right? We could also be targeting fashion, etc. Now notice, these are not specific, these are really broad, and that is the entire point of this targeting. We are doing a broad targeting, but still being specific enough to what our product actually is. So we're gonna go ahead and actually do our targeting, and I'm going to write in here boho, and then I'm gonna write chic. Usually you could write boho only as well, but you're gonna notice here that you have boho and you have boho chic, and that's usually what people refer to. And you're gonna see that there are 12 million people who likes the page and have shown interest in the topic that is boho chic. So that is exactly what we're going to choose. Now looking over to the right, you can see that now we have targeted 6.7 million people, right? Now, if we go ahead and we look at the template, our goal is to target between 100,000 and 1 million people. The sweet spot is around 500,000, but just stay within these limits. Now, remember we turned the detailed targeting off. Let me show you why. So right now we have 6.7 million people. Look at what happens when I turn this on. We have 210 million people. It's insane how wide the targeting becomes when you use this one. So I recommend that you never ever use it, right? It completely ruins our targeting and the data we're gonna get. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off again. This is just for demonstration. Now there are 2 different features we can use here. We have exclude people and we have narrow audience. Now exclude people, if I click here, I'm gonna get another one of these windows, and if I add something in here, those types of people are going to be excluded. We're not gonna use that, but now you know what that function is. So I'm gonna remove that. But narrow audience is something that we are gonna use, right? So when I click on narrow audience, you're gonna notice that there are 2 boxes. Now, when there are 2 boxes, that means that the targeting that we write in here needs to match this box and also this box. So for example, if I were to add something in here, let's say that I wrote bohemian in here. Now, notice that I have 6.7 million people that I'm targeting right now. If I write in bohemian in here, I'm going to be targeting 7.3 million people. So that's actually more, because now we only need to hit one of these to be counted as a targeted audience. Now, should I remove bohemian and I add it in here instead, bohemian, then notice that it's going to go from 6.7 million people, and now it's going to go down and it goes to 780,000 people, because now it's only going to target people who have liked or shown interest in boho chic and bohemian. All right? So what we're always going to do in all of our detailed targeting is that we're going to have one main interest, and in this case it's going to be the broad interest. And right now we're going to use boho chick. And then we're going to narrow it down, and we are going to use something known as engaged shoppers. Now, this is fantastic. It's an e-commerce strategy. Oh, let's go with engaged shopper. There we go. Because as you can see, it says here, people who have clicked on the call to action button, shop now, in the past week. That is fantastic. So now we're only targeting people who we know have a shopping behavior as of recent. So they know how to shop online. They know how to click on a Facebook ad and then go and actually purchase the product. They've done it before and they know how to do it again. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to use that in all of our targetings. Now you're going to notice that we still have too big of a reach. Now, because if we check out the template, we want to be between 100,000 and 1 million. So what we're going to do is that we're going to click on narrow further so we can go even further down. Now, if you need suggestions to what more to add in here, what you could do is that you can click on the suggestion box and go through these different suggestions. I'm going to show you how you can use the suggestion box later on as we create the other ad sets as well. But for now, I'm just going to write in another match that I think is going to be handy. So right now I've targeted boho. That's very wide, right? Now I'm also going to target earrings because that's also going to be very broad, but still product specific. Now earrings can mean thousands of things. So it's still a broad interest, a broad match. So I'm going to write in here, must also match earrings. And then I'm going to click on that one, and then let's see what happens with our targeting. So now we have 1.1 million people, right? So I want to reiterate and say that when it comes to your broad targeting, that should always be the first. The second should always be engaged shoppers, just like it says here, first broad interest and then the engaged shoppers. And then if you need to narrow down the reach, you click on narrow further and then you add in more things. Now, if you can keep it to a broad interest in here as well, that's great, but it's not mandatory. If I would have written something like, I don't know, bohemian accessories, or let's say a certain web store that I know sells boho products, that would be absolutely fine. The most important is that the broad interest is the first one, engaged shopper is the next one, and then we narrow it down with what's needed in order to reach the right amount. Now, this is still a little bit too big, but we're still gonna keep that as okay. And the reason for that is because when we scroll down, we're not gonna go through languages, we're not gonna go through show more options because none of them are in the template. Because when we go down to placements, you're gonna notice that that is going to be the next one, right? So placement, it says mobile Facebook feeds. So when we narrow down our placements, chances are that this potential reach might actually go down. If it does go down, then it might hit the spot for us. If it doesn't go down to where we want it to be, then we're gonna return to our detailed targeting and we're gonna fix it up until we are where we need to be. But first of all, we've set up a good targeting, so I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna check the placements and make sure that it is where I want it to be. Moving to the left here, we see placement mobile Facebook feeds. So I'm gonna click on manual placements. I'm gonna go to where it says devices. I'm gonna uncheck desktop. So now we only have mobile checked and it says Facebook feeds, right? So that means no Messenger, no Instagram, no audience network. And I'm gonna uncheck everything else. The marketplace, I'm gonna uncheck the groups feed. I'm gonna uncheck the Facebook stories, the in-stream, the search, the in-article, and that's all. So now we only have one, and that's the Facebook newsfeed. And look at that, the potential reach is now 610,000 people. And that is well within the range, almost at the very sweet spot of 500,000. So I'm super happy with that, and I'm going to be keeping that targeting, right? But if I lowered this one down and it still wasn't enough, well, then I would move back up to detailed targeting and I would either narrow it further, or if the targeting became too narrow, I would just change the last one, right? So in order to make sure that we are within the range that we need to be. So this is how detailed targeting works, and detailed targeting is completely based on what they are showing a like for and interest in. Now, if you find yourself kind of at a stall, you don't know what to choose or don't know where to start, well, you need to understand who your audience is, who is going to be likely to buy a product like this. And if you still have no idea who that might be, you can go ahead and click on, you see where it says browse here. You can go through the demographics and check out the different options. You can go through interest and then click down until you find the interest that's going to suit your product, and then you can go down to behaviors and make sure that there is a behavior that is likely to be of those people, your targeted audience, that is going to like your product, right? So this is how you use detailed targeting, and I'm going to show you in an upcoming lecture when we finish this ad how to use suggestions and how to use Google in order to get more options for your detailed targeting, right? This is just your first ad set. When we've created this entire ad, we're going to create 2 more ad sets. But for now, we're happy with our reach, right? And we set our placement. So what we're going to do is that we're going to scroll down. We're going to go down to budget and schedule. Check that one out. Daily budget is at $5. So its daily budget is going to be $5. It doesn't tell me to do anything else, right? So I'm not going to do anything else because I don't need to run it differently. It's nothing more than show options. The next one is going to be the format, and that is going to be when we click on continue. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to click on continue, which brings us to the ad design, and we're going to continue finishing up this ad in the next lecture. So see you in the next lecture.